Good evening all and welcome to Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club again. The mission of every Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supported and a positive learning environment in which every individual has an opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. We have a guest with us. Would you mind standing up and introduce yourself and say what brought you here?
Hi, my name is Jeff Simonian, and I'm actually here with from Seth Braun's invitation, and I'm sponsoring a 99% training on Saturday, and so I'm looking for someone to. I'm not a speaker by any means. I'm looking for somebody with can give a type of presentation with us for it's a 3-hour training and all, but it's included with a video and all that. So I need somebody with a little enthusiasm. They're going to be role playing. They're going to be type of discussions and everything else and all that. So I was looking for somebody to help me with that on Saturday. And it'll be at the public library at 1 o'clock and all. So that's my story.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Today is a very special occasion because both the new members and our own club members, because we are going to induct the new members into the club officially.
Yeah!
Woo! Individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership skills. And we now have an opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. I will now call our new members forward and ask them to join me at the lectern. Who are our new members here?
Who hasn't been inducted? Come on,
Yeah.
get up there.
We ask our new members to dedicate yourselves to personal growth, to share this great gift of leadership and communication skills in a group which we mutually share with your fellow members, and to help keep this Toastmasters Club strong and dynamic. Now please face your fellow members and affirm your membership by repeating the following. You can say your name. I. Your name. In the presence of my fellow members.
In the presence of my fellow members.
Of the Golden Speakers Toastmaster Club.
Of the Golden Speakers Toastmaster Club.
Make this firm obligation.
Make this firm obligation.
To attend meetings regularly.
To attend meetings regularly.
And prepare fully for each assignment.
And prepare fully for each assignment.
To apply myself to the program outlined in the Toastmaster manuals.
To apply myself to the program outlined in the Toastmasters manual.
To participate actively in club activities.
Participate actively in club activities.
To evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner. To build open, friendly relationships with my fellow members. And to bring other new members into the club. So that they can also gain the benefits of Toastmasters. Would all the club members please stand and repeat your club's pledge to these new members? Yeah, they. We, the members of Golden Speakers Toastmasters,
We, the members of Golden Speakers Toastmasters
Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations,
to maintain
a friendly, supportive atmosphere,
to
give you opportunities to help others, and to take your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience.
and make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Now we all appreciate it. Now we'll get into our Rotary Club agenda. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to our Toastmaster, Dan Denbaugh.
Good evening, everyone. New members, inducted members, our wonderful guests, viewers at home. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. So I'm the Toastmaster. My role is to make sure everything runs effectively. I'll introduce the roles tonight. Let's get through the roles. Our timer, Danielle.
Dave does sing.
I'm sorry.
Dave
introduce-
does sing.
Yeah. I made the
Dave does
association. Thank you, Dave.
Dave does sing.
Dave does sing. I had it last week. So Dave does sing. Who's our timer? Please
Should I
introduce
do
your role.
the timing rules?
Yeah.
Table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light is turned on at 1 minute, yellow light at 1 minute 30 seconds, the red light at 2 minutes. It remains on until the end of the speech. Prepared speeches are usually 5 to 7 minutes. The icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes. Some advanced level speeches are longer. The green light is turned on at 5 minutes, the yellow light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes, and remains on until the end of the speech. Evaluations are 3 minutes. The green light is turned on at 2 minutes, the yellow light is turned on at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red light is turned on at 3 minutes and remains on until the end of the evaluation. All speakers and evaluators have a 30-second grace period after the red light is turned on. Table topic speakers need to speak at least 1 minute to qualify for votes.
Thank you, Dave Dussing. Next role is Darlene Martin, the role of counter.
Yeah.
I will be the awe counter this evening, and the role of the awe counter is to record such words such as like, you know, so, but, and also repeats, and any other filler words, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Darlene. Our creator and joke master is Louis Denbaum. Louis has also stepped up to be the grammarian.
Good evening, club members, guests, viewers at home. My role is to note proper use of the English language, improper use of the English language, and colorful use of the English language, and also to introduce a word of the day. I've chosen a phrase of the day.
Yeah.
Effectiveness. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay? It means to accomplish 2 things with 1 action. So a way to use that is, boy, I need to take a walk today and I need to talk to Diane about some business proposition. I know I'll go for a walk with her and talk about the proposition at the same time, thereby killing two birds with one stone. I'll give a report at the end of the evening.
Thank you. Stacy Mara will be our general evaluator. I'll be introducing her halfway through the meeting. So Stacy, for our role players, I want to bring up our table topics master, Dan Craig.
Bring
so
it on.
Get into it.
Table topics is the section of the meeting where we practice speaking without preparation. Extemporaneous speaking, it's a different kind of workout and lots of fun. Guests are certainly welcome to give it a try. And we want anybody that doesn't have a role, which I don't think is anybody in the room, to volunteer.
I don't have a role.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
You may be my first volunteer.
I hope so.
The last thing I want to say is that the theme of the meeting is effectiveness. So the general range of topics of these 6 quotes that I have is effectiveness. Could I have a volunteer?
Oh,
Seth Braun.
yes, please. Hello. It's good to be here today.
So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Would you like to pick a number between 1 and 6?
Yes, 6.
This is a quote from a lady called Peace Pilgrim.
Peace
You ever heard of her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Keep your feet on the ground and your thoughts at lofty heights.
Keep your feet on the ground
And your thoughts at lofty heights. Please give us your reaction to that quote.
Okay, great. Thanks. Appreciate it, Dan. Let's hear it for Dan. Take the topics master. I'm feeling the need tonight to infuse some energy into the club meeting. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's this big swath of empty chairs right in the middle here that causes me to be impelled and compelled to share with you. Keep your feet on the ground, and your thoughts in the air. Is that correct? Something like that?
Heights.
Lofty heights. That's important. Peace Pilgrim. From what I know of the Peace Pilgrim, she walked across the country without any money. And she found support and assistance through faith in life and faith in people. And miracles happened, and she had this wonderful story. It's been a while since I heard that story. However, I know that Dan Craig was both keeping himself lofty and his feet on the ground last time I saw him at Parks and Rec playing volleyball. That was some serious volleyball you guys got going, and it's good to see you staying in shape. Now for something completely off topic. I will be speaking at, get this, 21 Toastmasters clubs in between the 4th of May and the 24th of May in Vancouver, BC and Seattle, Washington. 21 Toastmasters clubs. Well, my feet will be on the ground and my head will be in some lofty heights. This whole idea, I think, is similar to the Peace Pilgrim. Well, I'll also be speaking at Rotary clubs, Unity churches, some other civic clubs. So in total, approximately 40 talks in the 3 weeks that I'm there. Wow!
Wow.
Similar to Peace Pilgrim, you know, it's just setting out to do something, and then I know that once I get there, I'm going to be like, what did I do? And though I will need to have some miracles to kind of pull off some of those things. But that's kind of how I'm wired. I like to just throw myself into the mix and see what happens. Because if I don't, you know, if I try to figure it all out ahead of time, like the Peace Pilgrim, how are you going to figure out going across country without any money? You just have to start one step at a time. So that's my story about taking one step at a time as a professional speaker. I hope to look back on this talk today and be able to tell you that I've made tons of money as a speaker because I set out and took one step at a time. We shall see. We shall see.
I'd like to compliment Seth on showing us how you can kill two birds with one stone, do a table topics, and also give the club an update on your activities.
Yes, nice.
Are there any other volunteers for this worthy cause? Rahul. I've still got 1 through 5.
1 through 5. I'll choose 2.
This quote is from a lady named Meg Wheatley. Destroying is a necessary function in life. Everything has its season, and all things eventually lose their effectiveness and die. Destroying is a necessary function in life. Everything has its season, and all things eventually lose their effectiveness and die.
Thank you. That's amazing. When I heard the name of the author, I was like point blank. Damn, I know nothing about this, what I'm going to say. And as soon as I heard the quotation, destroying is necessary for everything in life. Everything has its season. Everything must live and die. I hope I'm getting close to the quotation. Now this saying has a very deep connection with me, both in terms of the belief that I was born with or the religion that I was born into. Hinduism. There are 3 main pillars of Hinduism. 3 gods, Trinity of gods. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma, the creator. Vishnu, the preserver. And Shiva, the destroyer. These Trinity of God serve a very crucial purpose in teaching us an essence of life with all the stories that I listened while growing up, that I heard while growing up. I've heard so many stories where people try to live forever. King Ravana, who got the boon from Brahma that he'll never die. He had nectar, which kept him alive forever if he wanted to. But eventually he died. Going with what I learned in my religion and with my belief, I saw things happening in that way in my life. Not just a person, but every other phase, every single thing that you can think of goes through this phase. It is born, it lives, where you try to preserve it, and then it dies. This is part of life. The only lesson that we can learn out of it is to not attach ourselves to any of these. Living, preserving, and dying are all process. Do your best to give your best to this life. Thank you.
We can do one more.
Okay, time for one more. And Art.
Come on, Art.
I've got, no, 2's gone.
Oh, I thought 1,
You
3,
can have
and
1
6.
or 3, 4, and 5.
4.
This is Stephen Covey. You may have heard of him.
Wonder where I've heard that name before.
Effective leadership is putting first things first. Effective management is discipline, carrying it out. Effective leadership is putting first things first. Effective management is discipline, carrying it out.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Effective management follows in this quote effective leadership. Effective leadership is deciding what ought to get done, setting up the vision, setting out the goals, and that is the higher level task. Not that the discipline to carry it out is immaterial. It's the only thing that actually gets it to happen. But without knowing where we're going, which is the function of the leader, okay crowd, this is where we're headed, to #1 status, and we're going again for #1 club in the state. That's leadership. Discipline, management, the effectiveness of carrying it out is all of the work of this officer crew that makes sure that we're actually scheduling people to make individual progress toward their CC and get 10 manual speeches done, or get the next CL, or get the next advanced silver, getting those 10 goals accomplished. I love this stuff by Covey, and Drucker's quote that is our theme for the night is just absolutely right in line with it. I'm very inspired by the last one that Ronald answered. I'm experiencing it right now, is that one has to be willing to suffer destruction in order for the new to show up. I had to be willing to allow the destruction of my business at Fairfield Nutrition. In essence, the whole place got obliterated. The physical structure and the organizational structure and the team, I had to be willing to let that go in order for the new place that we're creating to actually come into being. And then I had to be willing that the new space, which was actually workable, the way the previous tenant left it, could be wiped out of existence and just back to the bare walls and dust and crud everywhere and tons of stuff trucked out of there so that the new space could actually be built. And I see that over and over again in my life, is that leadership consists of seeing past the destruction towards what can be. It's JFK's quote, some men ask why. By looking at what is, they ask why. I look for what doesn't exist and say, why not? That's the leadership, and the discipline is, okay, what do we do to get from here to there? Thank you very much for fabulous material.
Now it's time for us to vote for best table topics. Devta, did the three...
Everyone qualified, yes.
They all qualified?
Yes.
And the names again were?
Seth was first, Raul second, and Art was third.
Okay, please vote for best table topics. Now I'd like to bring up the table topics evaluator, Jyoti Raj Adhikari.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. Today we have 3 speakers for table topics, and 3 of them were superb and marvelous. They did a wonderful job. First was Asif. He's a very good speaker. He always did his job nicely and perfectly, I can say. Today he started with his own stories. He described what he's going to do in 3 weeks, giving all his speeches and all. His speech was very good, and we understood what's his plan and what he's doing for the club and about speeches. That's a good thing about him. I just have only a few suggestions for you. The first thing was I saw you writing something down when you were coming. I couldn't figure out what actually it was, so it was a little distracting, I can say, for me at least. So for Toastmaster also, I mean the table topic master also, he may be thinking what he is doing and wondering what's going on. So that one, and the second one is today you forgot to greet the audience. So you said greet the audience. That's the first thing. And Rahul, your speech was fabulous. I liked it, and you connected all 3 gods with destruction, creations, and all these things. It was in 2 minutes you gave all Hinduism. That's a fabulous speech, and you also forgot to greet the audience. So you just started your speech straight away. So I suggest you greet the audience. That would be a good practice. And I just suggest one more point, that you're moving from here to there while speaking. The move was, I didn't see the actual connection between the speech and the move. So just as every Toastmaster suggests here, like you take a paragraph or a part of speech at a point and then move. When it reaches the other point, you go to the second level or some other point and finish your talk. That's all. And for art, you're fabulous as usual. I like to hear you again and again. Your voice, your speech, you have a vibration, I can say. That's fabulous. But only the suggestion I have is, you were standing here, you didn't move a bit, and you lost a little bit of eye contact with the audience. But you greeted all. You greeted all, zeal and enthusiasm. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll now move into the speaking section of our evening. Our first speaker, I'm going to introduce the evaluator for our first speaker, and that evaluator is Jesus Rio. I think I have this right. I'm sorry. No, Art Atkinson, you're evaluating Raul, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, so I'm going to introduce Art Atkinson for Raul. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Good evening, members. My name is still Art Atkinson, and I am doing a version of impromptu evaluation this evening. I was to be evaluating a different speaker on a different project, and I'm just getting clear now that our speaker, Rahul Vats, will be speaking on the CC number 9, Persuade with Power. His objective is to help us change our minds, if they're not already in line with his, to change our minds on some topic that's about which he's passionate and powerful.
Good evening, friends, fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. My name is Rahul, and today I want to share something which came to my realization when I was hearing a very interesting talk by Phyllis Kerr about social media. And I wanted to share some of my views, being a programmer that I am, which is my specialization. I wanted to share some of my views. Today in my talk, to persuade, I'm going to try to make you see as to why you should be friends with social media. Because I've heard a lot of people who feel they cannot really understand social media. It's not about understanding. It's about why you should be friends with social media. I'm going to give you 2 reasons, and I'm going to tell you one need which would drive you to change your opinion if in case you already are not friends with social media. By the way, how many people over here have some or the other social media account? Well, almost every 60% of the people. So starting, I would just like to tell you in very short what is social media. For me, social media is a platform for you to share your idea to the society and gain some idea from your virtual social friend circle. Now there is a difference. I said society at one place and virtual social circle at another. This is because whatever you share, you could share it with anybody in the society. But you can choose to customize what you receive just from your circle of friends, which could mean a lot of things for you. So that's why little difference in those 2 points. And the picture that you see is basically all the very different websites which you can classify under social media. Social media provides you a lot of things. This in terms of business, social media provides you with a lot of advantages. It's the low cost source of trusted information. The very low cost. Practically you have to pay nothing in order to get trusted information. Simplest mode of global access and reach. It's the best mode to do contact building. Contact building where people think like you. It's very easy mode to identify the contacts who thinks like you. It's a very measurable, you can measure, and a very flexible way to distribute and receive information. You can very easily measure the information that you're receiving. You can very easily measure your needs against the information that you're receiving. There are many more advantages that you might hear on a daily basis, but those advantages could still not drive you to be friends. But the three things that I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to convince you on an emotional, beneficial, and on the ground where you would see that you would definitely need to have an account in future. So the very first point that I would like to tell you is, people do ask me, why should I be friends? I have enough friends, why do I need another friend? It's not for me, I do not see any benefit. And I don't feel I need it. But I'm going to prove you that all three things could actually be not what you think it is. You can always have enough friends in your social circle, but there is nothing better keeping in touch with friends that you might not have seen in long time. This is coming from a person who lives 7 oceans across from his motherland. I do not think there is any other way better to keep in touch with the events at my family than social media. On an emotional need, I think it's not the best, but closest to the best way that I can keep in touch with my family. Just to share a few things, this is a picture from an event which happened with my family. Well, I didn't miss it, and I definitely felt that I should have been there, but I could at least enjoy seeing the picture, enjoy seeing the food, enjoy seeing my loved ones, enjoy seeing events which I might never get the chance to be a part of. Benefit. You know, one of the best things about social media is you get to get access to information which you might never have. 1 billion people are connected to internet today. 4 billion people have mobile phones with data capabilities. And then more than 400 billion people share billions of pieces of content and experiences each week via online exchanges. Big giants rely on information from social networking sites. One of my friends, he is a PhD candidate, he got an interview with Amazon. Amazon people asked him a simple question, which you might realize. Very often you might have seen, when you're trying to buy something, you see products that are recommended for you. Have you ever think how that happens?
Yes.
If you have, can you tell me how that happens?
Data collection and major filters about your behavior online and on Amazon.
That's true. Some of the best deals that you can get ever happens online via social media. That's a benefit. So I gave you one reason, emotional, one reason, beneficial. One, why do you need really? Read some of these quotes. Some people say, I'll never log in with Facebook to my bank. These are the same people who once said these things. I'll never use email. There's nothing like calling someone. But practically every other person today uses email. I'll never use an ATM machine. I don't trust a machine to give me money. Practically that's not what happens every day. I'll never get a cell phone. I don't want people to be able to call me whenever. Everybody has a cell phone here. I'll never put my credit card details on a website online. Are you crazy? There are some of my references. I hope I was able to convince you on 3 grounds. emotional, practical, and something which would happen in the future when your bank starts using your social media account to trust your information. Thank you.
Jesus Ricos, who is going to be the evaluator for John Armstrong. So, Jesus. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and honored guests. Although John Armstrong grew up in Fairfield, Iowa, he always been drawn to outdoor activities that require more terrain than Iowa has to offer. During college, he began rock climbing, and what else did you begin?
Backpacking.
Backpacking! How interesting is that? Please help me welcome John Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Rios. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest, and viewers at home. Unfortunately, I didn't begin improving my handwriting when I was in college, so it made it difficult for Jesus to read my introduction. But I'd like to begin just quickly with a show of hands. How many have ever rock climbed? All right, we've got one person. Rock climbed. Have you ever rock climbed? A couple people. And what about backpacking or hiking outdoors? Good, so a lot of people. I won't be speaking about rock climbing or backpacking this evening, but I'll be speaking about something that I think combines the two in a very nice way, and that is canyoneering. How many have heard or actually participated or done any canyoneering? Excellent! Seth Braun has my back tonight. Canyoneering basically involves finding a canyon and trying to go from one point in that canyon to another. And tonight I'll be telling you a little bit more about what it is, why I enjoy it, and a few reasons why it's fun and you might enjoy it as well. And then also why I encourage you to try it out yourselves. The places I've gone canyoneering most often are in the southwest of the United States, southern Utah, southeastern Utah. You could think the Grand Canyon or Escalante, Grand Staircase, or Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon National Parks, those sorts of areas. And the wonderful thing about these areas is that you can be driving along or walking along and it looks flat as far as you can see, nothing but some sandstone, sand, desert scrub. And then all of a sudden you come upon a deep, vast, cavernous canyon which drops out from under you and you had no idea it was there. And as a canyoneer, the first step is to make your way down into the very bottom of the canyon. And because there's a flat plateau that the canyons dip down from, you may need to rappel, so you may need to wear a harness to get over the rim of that canyon and actually use a rope and a belay device to lower yourself down into the depths. And once you've gotten down a little ways into the canyon, usually the canyon will shape somewhat like this, or will be shaped somewhat like this, with a flat plateau, angling down sharply, leveling off somewhat, and then finally dropping into a very narrow, deep slot at the bottom. So after you've rappelled or scrambled your way down below that first precipice, you'd find another way, possibly another rappel or some scramble or climb down into the bottom of that slot. And once you're in the slot, it may be so narrow in some places that you can't fit shoulder to shoulder. You might have to turn yourself sideways and inch along. There may be places where, as you're going along, it could drop out below your feet, and you might need to use your hand and feet to stem out over some deep area where you either couldn't climb down easily on your own, or it might be dangerous to try to jump into. There are other areas where you could be walking along and there might be a pool of water, not fresh water, but old, dirty water, because even though it doesn't rain often in these places usually, because it's deep down in this narrow slot, if there's no sunlight, even in the desert, water from rainfall might last several months. If you come upon a pothole or a pool of water like that, you may need to either swim through it from one side to the other, you may need to wade through it depending on the depth, or in other cases, because it's either too cold and you could risk hypothermia, or because it's too gross and you don't want to ruin your clothing forever, you might need to find another way around or through it. Some of those ways could be actually climbing on the rock wall on the side of the canyon as you go around with some water below you. You could, again, stem using your hands and feet in some way to get past it and over it. Or my favorite problem solved personally was I was once with a group of friends. We came to a pothole where the walls on each side were too steep to walk on. We couldn't walk around the water. The water was deep enough that it was cold, but also impossible to get out of. So had we dropped into the water, we wouldn't have been able to get out of the other side because it was up above our head where the rock began again. We couldn't reach up to pull ourselves out. So we would have been stuck in the water, and that could be dangerous. And the rock wall, although not vertical, was too smooth to have any proper hand or footholds. So we couldn't just climb around from one side to the other. And so we were stuck there for several minutes, if not more, and finally realized that we could throw our packs from one side to the other, across, hopefully not into some water on the other side, past the pothole at hand, back up, and take a running start, excuse me, take a running start and actually run up the wall partway and then down the other side with just enough time to stop against the opposing canyon wall. And examples like that are what I love best about canyoneering. There's inevitably a beautiful, beautiful area, because to find a canyon like that, you need to go somewhere remote usually. There's always physical activity, because the actual act of getting yourself from one place to another requires some vigorous physical effort. But what I like most about canyoneering is the problem solving. What I like most is combining that physical activity and the actual movement and motions and the coordination with some problem solving that requires a connection between the body and the mind, and really requires you to use your head to actually achieve your goal and move from one place to another. That is a very, very quick snapshot of canyoneering and a little snapshot of some of my experiences. I've told you a little bit about what it is, how to do it, and why I enjoy it, and I encourage everyone to try it out for yourself, or at very least look it up online and find out more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Fellow Toastmasters, please take 2 minutes, please, timer, and both speakers qualify.
Yes, well, I spoke for 7 minutes and 34 seconds, and John spoke for 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, then.
7:34 is
Sorry?
7:34 is over.
Yes, so Raul was over by 4 minutes, yes.
4 seconds.
Seconds. 4 seconds, thank you. All right,
So we don't need to vote.
so you don't need to vote. I'm going to introduce to you now, we're ready for the evaluation section of our meeting, and I'd like to evaluate Stacy and Mary to come up and take over for the end of the meeting.
Okay, we've had the appetizer, the table topics, we've had the main course, the speakers, and now it's time for the dessert.
Yeah.
Evaluations. So, we had 2 speeches tonight. We had Rahul Vats and John Armstrong. all, I would like to introduce Art Atkinson to evaluate Rahul Box.
Good evening again, Toastmasters, guests, and viewers. Be friends with social media. So, one of the things that I liked about this, first of all, the fact that you were basically impromptu giving a talk that you thought wasn't scheduled tonight. I want to compliment you for pulling it all together quickly and doing that. I like, you were pretty smooth with your, once you got the equipment set up, you were pretty smooth with the AV material and you had good slides to support your points. And I like the fact that for most of the time you were not really telling us what was on the slide, because that is a failing that often comes up. People read to the audience what's in front of the audience's face so they can read it for themselves. And you moved quickly through a picture, 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 picture as you were showing us the family event in India. So there was a lot of good things about it. Occasionally you got stuck reading to us what was on the slide, but it was brief and not frequent. So I want to compliment you on pretty good use of your slides. What could you have done better? I'm going to suggest that prove and persuade come from different emotional landscapes. And you were going to prove to us several things that you wanted us to believe. And so my emotional response was somebody said, I'm going to prove to you, I'm digging my heel, that we will see. Right? Is there anybody else in the room who has that gut reaction when somebody says, I'm going to prove this to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you undercut the purpose of this talk, which is to persuade, by using that word that way. Here's what I would suggest instead. We're talking about social media. How many of you have ever watched a YouTube? You ask that question, and you'll see a certain number of people, probably a pretty high percentage of people, well, yeah, they've seen a YouTube video. Imagine a world there was no YouTube. A friend of yours couldn't say, hey, you've got to see this fabulous juggler, and give you a link, and instantaneously you're sharing something that your friend loves. Imagine a world where there's no Facebook. You can't see the birthday party pictures that were taken yesterday because that whole framework doesn't exist. That is a way to emotionally connect us with the thing. And now, you didn't say the word prove to us at all. What you did was you drew on our own experience that we've already had and said, see what it got you? So your objective with this talk was to give us some logic, which you did brilliantly, and to give us some emotional content. And that's where I think you just need to work on getting it to actually truly be emotional content, not logical content expressed as emotion. Great talk. Keep on doing it. Stacy, my apologies.
Thank you, Art. And now we'll have our next evaluator, Jesus Rios, evaluating John Armstrong.
Good evening again, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and honored guests. I'm here to evaluate John Armstrong. What can I say? I think that right from the beginning, you captured everybody's attention with your story, with your experience on hiking and backpacking, and you get everybody through your whole speech really confident, well-spoken, smooth-spoken. I noticed that everybody was hitched in your speech. You didn't lose the attention on nobody for 1 second. I was really interested, really captured with your experiences. your body movement, the way you express taking a run and walking an angle until you make to the edge, it was like if almost I was seeing you doing that. Like I just imagine you doing that, going to the crevices on the canyon, rappelling, all the physical strength, your facial expressions. It was everything well done, and I'm going to evaluate according to the book, to the manual. Topic selection, it definitely facilitates body language, and you will really express it with it. Preparation was excellent. Obviously, this is something that you have pretty much experience with it, and it showed the way you explain, the way you run us through everything. And like you mentioned, that was just only a snapshot. So you are well experienced on the speech that you were sharing with us. Your manner, really confident. You basically took over the stage and run us through your story in a really confident manner. Gestures, it was natural and evocative. Like I said earlier, the way you expressed wiggling into the crevices and climbing up, it was really expresses. All your body movements were really speaking in accordance to your message that we were hearing. Facial expressions. Maybe you could have used a little bit more of facial expressions as you was reliving, telling us the story, the effort that it takes for you to climb, to go down, all the physical effort involved on this part that you was telling us as you were recounting the story. The speech was really clear. The speech organization was logical and clear. The only suggestion that I would have for you, John, yes, make more uses of pauses. That will drive the attention more to you and create, everybody will find their ear even more, even though you had everybody. And the other suggestion will be, just take a little time and use one phrase and lock somebody with your eyes. That will really make it intimate and make the connection between you and your audience. Yes, as you're moving, just lock for an instant. And that will make sure that you will retain the speaker really soaked into your speak. That's my evaluation for you, John.
Okay, now we'll go to the other parts of the meeting. Let's see. Oh, the new schedule, man. I don't know about this schedule. It's not like the old one. It's not like the old days. Change is constant. So, first of all, let's have a report from our timer. Or hold it. 2 minutes to evaluate. Oh, very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Tom.
No, we just vote.
No,
Just
we
vote.
don't. We don't evaluate.
Yeah, right. Vote for
30
the best,
seconds.
vote for the best evaluation. Welcome back, everyone. And now we will have a report from the timer. Dave tossing.
Do I just give the time that everyone spoke?
Right, just give the name and the time.
All right, our first table topic, Speaker Seth spoke for 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Second one, Rahul spoke for 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And our third one, Art, spoke for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Table topic evaluator, Jyoti Raj spoke for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And our first speaker, Rahul, spoke for 7 minutes and 34 seconds. And the second one, John Armstrong, spoke for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And the first evaluation by Art was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The second one by Jesus was 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right.
Now we'll have a report from the counter, Darlene Martin.
Go, Darlene. You get them.
Counter, okay. Diane had a clean slate. Dan had a clean slate. Seth, 1 butt. Raul, 1 you know. 3 so's, 2 butts, 1 in. Art, 3 so's, 2 ins, 1 repeat. Jyoti, 1 ah. Jesus, 2 likes and 1 in. John, 1 ah and 7 ins. And Stacy had a clean slate.
Now we'll have a report from the grammarian, Lewis. And then afterwards you can stay up for the report, okay?
I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone by staying up here for the joke. Okay. Phrase of the evening, Dan used it, and he used it properly. The one thing you said, Dan, and I'm using this because you're an accountant, you'll appreciate the preciseness. You said pick a number between 1 and 6. Now, technically, only 2, 3, 4, and 5 are between 1 and 6. 7 used. Now for something completely off topic. And they use pow. Something like that. That's kind of how I'm wired. Raul, in your table topic, used living, dying, and preserving are all parts of life. Art used suffer destruction for the new to show up. Now, Art, I know you are a grammarian type, and I know you'll take issue with this. You use the word O-F-T-E-N, and I believe the correct pronunciation is often, the T is silent. Look that up on your social media tonight. Raul, I thought the topic, the title of your speech was incredible. Be friends with social media. That was wonderful there, that little pun there. You pay nothing to get trusted information, and no better way to stay in touch with family and friends through social media. I like that one. Jesus, you said, I was captured with your experiences. Let's see what else we have. John, I learned a lot about different ways to get through a canyon. You had scramble, stem out, wade, rappel. And then problem solving that requires coordination between mind and body. So those are my grammarian tips of the evening. So effectiveness is our theme tonight.
Yes.
An accountant, an engineer, and a lawyer are paying their last respects to a close friend. They show up at the funeral home and they're looking in the coffin. And the accountant, very good with money, says, you know, we owe Johnny, we each owe him $20 from that bet he won. And the accountant, being good with money, takes out a $20 bill and puts it in the coffin. The engineer says, all right, I guess I'll do it too, puts the $20 in. The lawyer, being very effective, takes out his checkbook, writes a check for $60, puts it in the coffin, and takes the 2 20s out.
Mr. Grammarian and Mr. Toastmaster. Okay, now I will evaluate the evaluators, which is always fun. So first of all, we have the table topics, and that's always a challenge to evaluate because you have very, very little time to do that. However, Jyoti was able to do that fine. He evaluated each individual table topics person, went through and said what they did well, or he said what they did, and he said what they needed to do better. One suggestion I would have for Jyoti is that he could say what they did, he could say the things that they did well and spend a little bit of time on that. Except for Rahul, when he said that he gave the whole elements of Hinduism in a 2-minute speech. He was kind of vague with his suggestions. He didn't really, he said Seth did fabulous, but he didn't really say what was so fabulous about Seth. And I would say that Seth was, although he was really, really nervous up here, you know, he was like not comfortable at all with the stage and just being up here, a little bit nervous. I thought he came across really well and, you know, connected it to his personal life. So that's what I thought Seth did well.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging me.
So, Rahul, Jyoti also didn't say what you did well, other than the general. I guess that was a huge general thing, yes, all of Hinduism in 2 minutes. Okay, so he said what you did well. We'll call that good. I liked how he said that you needed to be more purposeful about your movements, because I noticed that in your prepared speech too, that if you would just like stand in one place and talk for a while instead of kind of moving all around all the time, it kind of, it distracts a little bit from what you're saying. For art, again, Jyoti didn't make too many suggestions about what you did really, really well, what I thought you did really well is you connected the quotes to some other quotes that you knew from I think it was, I guess it was the one I had, Peter Drucker, and then also from Kennedy, and then you also told a story from your own personal life and connected those quotes about the destruction and so on to your own personal life. So that's what I thought you did really well. And now, that's for Jyoti, just to give more about what people did well. He did give suggestions for everything that people could do better, so that was good. Now for Art Atkinson, evaluating Rahul. Art had to do a quick last-minute switch for and changed who he was going to evaluate tonight, so I think he did a really good job on that. He had talked about many of the things that Rahul did well, that he moved quickly through all the pictures, and he had good slides to support his points. I would have suggested, Rahul, that maybe you could have made the slides bigger. I thought they were kind of small, and I don't know, maybe it's just this room, because it seems like we always have a little bit of problem with the audio-visual in this room. So that might be something we better work on before my speech when I do that. Maybe I can figure out a way to set up the projector so it's big. I don't know. I liked how Art said what he could do better, and brought out the difference between prove and persuade, and how those were different, and he gave the example of how he could appeal to the emotions and say, just imagine a world without Facebook. You couldn't look at someone's birthday party, your friend's birthday party. So I thought that was a good suggestion. What you should do better? Well, I'm running out of time, and I don't have a lot what you could do better, so I better wrap it up here. Jesus evaluated John Armstrong on his canyoneering talk, and he said what John did really well. He also went through the manual and evaluated each of the things in the manual, and that's a good way to go through a speech, just so we run through the manuals, and the manuals for each speech has certain items that we're supposed to emphasize for that speech. So this speech was obviously emphasizing gestures, so we all got that the canyons were off the plateaus and so on. So that was a very good speech for that topic, because it had a lot of things you can make gestures with. He suggested that you use more pauses and have even more eye contact, which is probably true, but I don't know if it's particular to this certain speech, if those were things that this certain speech was asking him to look at. That was the only suggestion I would have, that maybe if it's not for this particular speech, maybe you shouldn't talk about that, because it might be for later on speeches. And that's all I have for the evaluation. Overall, good job, everyone.
Great, thank you everyone. Now we'll present the awards, the exciting part, the grand finale. Let's have some excitement. And for what? Best table product, or Atkinson. I'd like to invite Raul Vatsa for his award. Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome back our wonderful President Satish Sabati. Yes.
I hope you had a flavor of our meeting.
Good.
Come back again to see more of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And would you like to share your experience today with us?
My throat's kind of sore. I'm not today, no.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I want to say that it's very, I enjoyed it very much as far as, it's something I like and all as far as the techniques and all that. And so it's good to hear about the evaluations, especially all the critiques. So very nice, all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing more. See you all next week. Meeting adjourned.